Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 3. We're going to talk about it. Spoilers up ahead. Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I got Kyle here with me. Pecos with the Zero. Check out his Instagram account. It's amazing. Go there. Pecos with the Zero. Now, we've been covering Lord of the Rings. We're also covering House of Dragons. And we did a fun versus series, Lord of the Rings versus House of Dragons. Definitely check it out. It was just a lot of fun. Wasn't planned or anything. We just went
Sparking
for it.
hot, intense debate across the internet. Okay.
If you watched it, thank you so much. Comment down below. And yeah, we're going to jump into it. Lord of the Rings, or Rings of Power. Kyle.
Yes.
Lead us in, sir.
Okay, so we've got the introduction of Numenor, the
Yes.
human kingdom. Yes, we also get a little backstory on the history. They're the ones that sided with the elves in the last great war against Morgoth, right? So if the people of the Southlands or of that region are the ones that sided with the forces of darkness, these guys sided with the elves. Though for some reason the elves are no longer welcome in Numenor, which I don't know why that is. Considering,
Yeah,
and they seem to be distraught about Galadriel's presence, and apparently,
it's a different king, right?
Yeah, and apparently they've like shut him away. There's a queen regent, and Elendil is for some reason brought her there, right? Because his name also means elf friend, which they believe is a portent to his leanings.
Yes,
right?
and we got a big, not spoiler, but I guess a big callback to his son.
Yes, Isildur.
And
yeah,
we
so
know
he's,
him,
looks
all right?
like
Yes, we know him.
Yeah, it looks like he like his his father wanted him to be a seaman of some kind.
Yeah.
and Isildur does not want to do that apparently.
Well, so far, yeah.
Yeah, so far.
So maybe we're gonna see his corruption. Like right now, he's young, a teenager, he's innocent. Maybe we're gonna see the path to why he said, "It's mine," and he walked away so evil.
So that's the thing. I think it is that I thought in that moment he was corrupted by the ring.
Yeah, but
sort of like it's not like, I mean, of course, no king is hands are untarnished, right? But
I mean, which was a fun parallel here. So Aragorn always struggled with the blood of his father, and his father's father,
right.
and how he would never be able to overcome this ring. You know, he had this like stress and looming, thing like, I don't know if I can do this, like kind of self-doubt the whole series. And it's interesting, we're getting that with the new character now, almost with his position of being king and his like doubt of what his forefathers done and agreements that were made with the Dark Lord himself.
Are we talking about Halbrand here?
Yes, because remember in the jail cell. Thank you for clarifying that. He was talking about how his fathers made the deal, so he feels like he's not worthy. Very much an Aragorn storyline.
Yeah.
Even though I still think he's Sauron.
So like I gotta say about, while we're still kind of talking about Numenor, is that like Numenor is dope.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I loved it. So like the music, it sounded old, like it was remembering a civilization of long ago, right? Like with the drums, that was sick. And then like it's got like this Byzantine vibe, kind of. But like I've also noted, and I've loved this about like Lord of the Rings stuff and how it's usually portrayed. It seems like it's a perfect cross between dwarven straight lines and angular features meets the curving golden elven substance of their architecture, right? It's like humans are somewhere in the middle, right, of those two aesthetics. Yeah, and it's always cool.
And we're getting very Gondor themes, like the Minas Tirith, like extruding platform that it has is in their main castle or fortress or whatever you want to call it. And we even got the beacons of Gondor lit. The beacons.
Oh yeah, we've got the sea beacon as they're coming in, right? Did you yell that out loud, Nick, when you were watching this?
I was yelling a couple things in this episode. A lot of callbacks to some Lord of the Rings vibes for sure in this episode. When his elf friend died, which I didn't care about, when they were drinking the water, like, because you don't know who that character is, and it's like the slow motion slicing of the throat, like the dripping, but it reminded me a lot of when Haldir died in Helm's Deep.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But we were so attached to Haldir and like, you know, it's the sacrifice where Aragorn, like you really saw the like, oh man, then Aragorn gets on the ladder and he jumps, you know, it's so amazing. Love Helm Deeps, love the original so much. But
so I gotta ask, which friend did you not feel anything about?
What? Oh, the one, the elf guy that got slit in the throat.
The throat slit. Yeah. Okay, because the one that got the arrow. That got the arrows. I did feel something about that.
I don't
like,
know
I
about
was
him
like,
getting shot though. I don't know
what
about that. I just thought that was weird. First of all, I thought it was weird. The angle of the spear that hit the wog. I don't know if that was even the correct angle because I believe he was behind him. There was something going on with the like this, and maybe he can throw curved spears and that's his special technique or something. But but I don't know. Just the fact that he got shot, it was just kind of. Like they have archers like hidden for when they run. I don't know. You just think an elf, especially an elf captain, would be a little bit aware or on his toes a little bit more. But it's fine. That's the thing. It makes sense for the story though.
It does, and also I would actually have to argue that point is that they have not seen the surface. They've all been on that trench, which is above eye level. Yeah. So you wouldn't know if there are archers or patrolling the perimeter, which is common practice in a prison situation. Yeah, right? They're like laborers. They're prison laborers.
Humans, not orcs.
What do you mean? So you expect orcs to be stupid all the time?
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay. See, that's the thing. I've known orcs to be callous and cruel, but not stupid.
I don't know.
There's a difference.
They're not smart for sure.
Sure.
They're not. They're just
I guess that's why they have the strongman hierarchy stuff going. But yeah.
But I don't know why they spared his life. Other than story plot armor, but you would think that they would have just killed him right then and there at that point. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it's going to lead to something else, which is going to lead to a story or something.
I thought I call it the little revenge of the tree, because he didn't want to. He's like, cut down the tree, and so he basically got the twig and stabbed him in the neck with it. I love that,
And so and then the arrows are so clean. I noticed when he got shot with those black arrows and like green feathers on it. I'm like,
that very vibrant.
Yeah, I just that's very clean for an orc arrow.
Yes.
I just maybe I always just think of Boromir when he gets shot 3 times. Those things were like thick, man. Those things were like massive, right? And he was just like, oh, but
very gnarly. Yeah.
And so yeah, we had that whole sequence, which was cool, like the whole lighting thing and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm enjoying the show more, but there's things I'm trying to be more positive overall, as you can tell just by the compared to the first video, right? Like you can definitely tell I'm being more positive, right, Kyle?
One thing, I honestly, no, it's kind of tough to tell right now. One thing I liked about the orcs though in the Southlands arc is I didn't notice. I don't know why I didn't notice it before with the other scenes, but I loved the pale reptile skins.
Yeah, they're all kind of.
They're kind of draped because they're like protect them from the sunlight, kind of. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that's a cool little detail.
And their voices really reminded me of the ones from the Two Towers. Yeah, what about their legs? They got meat. Yeah. They got legs. They don't need their legs. No, they are not for eating. Meat's back on the menu, boys. Every episode, Kyle.
There we go.
It's so good. So good. And then I thought it was cool. We got to see the white tree because we know there's a seedling that's going to go be planted in Gondor and Minas Tirith, which is super cool. I'm into the lore stuff like that. It was really cool seeing the giant sculptures along the water, which is reminiscences to the Fellowship when they're going down the river and you see the giant statues, which I thought was really cool too. Just show how it transferred over, even though Numenor, spoilers, gets flooded and everyone gets destroyed. But whoever the sailors though that were probably able to get away, and they start Gondor, where they're still have the Numenorean blood, which they can live longer and stuff like that. So and then, were you okay with the symbol just being Mordor on the map?
I thought that was great.
Okay.
It reminds me of the reason I say that is just because I was kind of along for the ride too. Like when they turn it sideways and then I was right there with them going like, oh shit, it's Mordor.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, and that's the thing. I like how they didn't say that it was Mordor, right? Because I don't even know if it even has that name at this point, right?
Not yet, probably.
Yeah,
probably
it's just a land in the Southlands to them. Huh.
Probably not until after the rings are made, right? That's what I'm guessing, like, because that's when he claims his territory. Because he's like, he pulls the mask off. He's like, gotcha, you know.
Yeah.
You guys took the bait.
So after this episode, Nick, I think your theory of him being, and I guess it's also a theory on the internet right now also, but like he might be Sauron in disguise.
Which one? Who?
Halbrand.
Oh, I think so still.
Because he's showing some ability of persuasiveness and and also he's definitely got fighting ability.
And he has an anger issue.
He does. Yes.
And he likes to break those forearms. And did you also notice too, the job he wanted to take was a blacksmith?
That's true.
Which will lead to forging of the rings, maybe. And even if he does finally get that pendant or whatever he wants, he can move up to the ranks, gain the trust of the people there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because and also during that audience with the Queen Regent, that situation deteriorated quickly. Yeah. And he's the one that saved it, you know.
Because he needs to stay there. Remember, his whole thing's like, I have to stay here. And then he even said he picked it off a dead guy, which he could have. He could be telling the whole truth right there, where it's like he's not lying. He did pick it off a dead guy, like it wasn't a joke, and he's just playing the part now because she's like eating it up, kind of thing. So so he could definitely be faking his thing, or if he was the king of the region, he can be playing a part where it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I was the king over there. What are you gonna do? I corrupted everyone underneath me, like kind of thing. So it's out there still, but we have the stranger. After this episode, what are your vibes on the stranger?
So that's the thing. I think the stranger
danger.
He's still some Istari, but I don't know which one. I don't know if it's Gandalf. He actually said 2 words.
Friend.
This time, yeah, friend and Nori.
Yeah, he said Melon.
Yeah.
Melon. Friend.
Another Lord of the Rings reference.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Moria now, when they open up the gate, I forgot to mention this in the last video, when he's like pokes his head out, I'm like, dude, that's so Wizard of Oz. He's like, no, you cannot come in. And you like shut the hole. Like, I'm like, dude, that's such Wizard of Oz stuff. Can we talk about all the slow motion? Did Snyder direct this episode? There's so much, just like we spent like 5 minutes on a horse shot.
How much slow-mo there was?
There was like the shot with the horse. She's like,
yes, that's the only one I remember.
The slitting of the throat. Ones? And then there was like one more too. I can't remember. There was like another one too. I'm like, okay, these are long slow motion shots. Too. Yeah. We spent like 6 minutes just like on the horse ride.
It was those two.
There was another one I can't remember. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't have it down on my notes. I'm sorry. I failed you. All right. I failed you all. I'm so sorry.
No.
But I want to say the pacing of this episode was better than 1 and 2.
Okay.
Because I don't think we were jumping around as much.
No,
we're not. Very hyper-focused.
Although I was a little bit crestfallen to not see Elrond and Durin.
Yeah,
time,
which was the best part.
We'll get back to them.
We definitely will, because they're going to have another dinner.
Have another family get together.
It's gonna be like The Hobbit, everyone just keeps coming to the dinner party.
Also, so about the Harfoots and the stranger, right? So like, we learned that Poppy's family, she's the only survivor from her family getting killed. Because they're talking about the Proud Fellows. Yeah. Right? And they just keep on listing them after another, and then you kind of see her start to get emotional, right? And it's like, oh crap, she's like it. And then when they're migrating, she's the only one carrying her stuff, and it's a smaller wagon, Yeah,
it's like Sam, help share the load. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was, and that was, that was very interesting, because I was getting some, I'm trying to remember what movie it reminds me of, but it was like, don't go outside, never leave the crowd, or like I was trying to remember. I'm like, was this Ants? Was it like Finding Nemo? I was trying to remember the idea, like you don't leave the outer circle, or you don't leave the party. It's like this idea of like super safe, like over like the helicopter parent. You know what I mean? Where like everyone has. I'm trying to remember what movie that was.
Bambi, from. Finding Nemo. Bug's Life.
I was trying to remember though, right? It's like, the colony must stick together because we're strong in numbers and stuff like that. But
right.
I was hoping we'd get a little bit more info out of the stars, which we didn't. Right. It was left kind of cliffhanger, which is fine. And I'm wondering when they were talking about going back to their to the Grove, like, oh, the Grove. I wonder if they're talking about the Shire.
Oh, yeah, because they're migratory. I would assume. I mean, if it's typical sort of nomadic peoples, they probably have a circuit that they do seasonally, right? And they kind of go around. So maybe the Grove is their next spot. That'd be cool, actually.
Yeah. So the Grove. I'd be really down. I'm curious if that's going to be where they settle, maybe now, and then maybe something magical will happen with the wizard or the stranger, and maybe he'll do something to make it like the Shire. But I'm guessing they're kind of by like where Rohan was or something like that, and I think they got to make their way. It's
kind of Rohan-y.
Yeah, they're making their way this way, away from trouble at least. Because the farther you go west, the farther you stay away from Mordor.
Yeah.
So at this time, we still have like Mirkwood elves and all that stuff too, right? Like that's all still going on at this time, right?
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, and then when there was that street brawl and the fight, I could have swore so many of those punches were far off the face, and they were like,
oh yeah, for like no, like the stunt work was kind of like off, yeah.
Like especially the uppercut, like I fully saw his hand go up and then he went like back or something like that. I was like, no, come on, reshoot that. We have a big enough budget to reshoot that one shot. Which is fine. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. I am just picking it out just for humor at this point. It's totally fine. And then, so. Oh
wait.
Yes, go for
it. I want to say, because you're talking about the Mirkwood elf. It's interesting because I just realized so this takes place during the Second Age. If you think about it, this is taking place toward the latter or end of the Second Age.
Yes.
Technically. So there's actually like a lot of stuff that's already, like you were asking about the Mirkwood elves, right? Like I'm assuming they've already been established because like that's a very short time span from the end of the second to the beginning of the third, right? Yeah. It's like what, like 20, 30 years kind of deal? Well, I mean, depending on where we're looking at it from. So if Isildur is like a teenager, at this point, then maybe we have like a
longer,
century.
Though. Yeah, they do live longer. Yeah. Let's be safe and we say 200 years. But they probably live longer than 200 years because Aragorn was 80 and he was like at the height of his, he was like, a 30-year-old or something like that, when his prime still. So maybe 300's the number. I don't know. I am not an expert at all. I'm a fan of the movie and the books, but no expert for sure.
You bring up a good point though. I mean, people are more longer lived in and
then that was like Aragorn's grandfather. Right? Because I think so. Because like over time, because I know it wasn't his dad because the whole thing happened and they moved him to the elves. He grew up with the elves and all that stuff like that, and that's when they had the steward and all that craziness, all that crazy
crazy politics. Game of Thrones.
Daenerys being moved to the other side, coming back.
One
with
thing
their
I wanted to point out because it was just something I wanted to find out more about, but especially with like seeing Numenor, the landscapes, I was like, man, where do they shoot this? And it's no surprise, they shot it in New Zealand.
Oh,
right.
Cool,
So a lot of the shots that you saw, like where they're riding on the beach or in Numenor, is like the Denise Bluffs in the Waikato region. Then we've got Coromandel Peninsula, and then other Auckland locations.
Really
for
cool.
like specifically like the Numenor stuff.
I'm happy they went back.
Yeah.
And then, do you have any other things you wanted to point out? I think we hit all the major points.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm feeling a little better than I did about the first 2 episodes. But I'm hoping to get more into it. But I'm
What do you want to? What would you like to see in the next couple episodes?
I don't know. I prefer the pacing of this episode compared to the other ones. It was nice just to see talking happen. And dialogue happen because like the other one I just felt like there was so much action going on, and it's so funny. I've been going back and watching the old Game of Thrones, and I love the pacing of it. Like obviously it ramps up and stuff like that, but because of the ramp up, there's more tension when it comes to those moments and stuff like that. And it was interesting because I know last episode I was like, there's so many story plots going on here. And you said Game of Thrones did the same thing, but it was interesting for the first 3 episodes, we were mostly with the Starks and the Lannisters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? True. It wasn't like we were jumping around yet. We didn't get to King's Landing, and we really got time to get close to the Starks. So when their stories happened, we were really attached to every single Stark character. Maybe not Bran because he was like sleeping and stuff like that. And his whole storyline's kind of whatever. But you know what I mean? Like we were really attached to the main characters that we were attached to. We got to travel with them on the road and stuff, where this one is just like you go. And it's like, give us time to get to know these characters. Like, and I think that's what's happening in this episode. We got a little bit more of the cultures and stuff on the back end. It wasn't just so heavy, cramming your face. You know what I mean? Like, this is happening, and jumping all over the place. So
plot, lore, plot.
I want to be positive. There's a lot of negativity around this show, for sure, on the internet. It's still not my favorite show, I can tell you that. But I want to make sure I'm enjoying my time I'm spending watching this stuff.
Yeah.
For my own psyche. So I'm doing my best. Right. Kyle's here to help me, to guide me on the path of happiness and joy. Thank you so much, Kyle. Lead me to the Grey Haven so I can go into
I will try to be more of the happiness and less of the criticalness.
Be the Hobbit. I'll be the angry dwarf. But I'm very curious where these connections are going. We probably won't even get our main twist and plot twists until like season 2 or 3. I know they're signed for 5 seasons. They want to do 5 seasons for this, so they're really spreading. I mean, that's a lot of information.
That's a lot.
They're really going to be maybe spreading storylines and stuff like that. But
Nick, that's got to go in the title card. You're like, yeesh. 5 seasons.
I am currently traveling right now on the road. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I was able to watch the show, and we're going to be covering other shows here.
He's been busting it, folks. He's been busting it.
Go to Instagram, follow Pekkas with a 0. He's an amazing, talented artist. He even got some cool dwarf art on his Instagram. Go check it out. If you want more content from us, subscribe, hit the like button, and also comment down below other shows and stuff you would like us to cover. If you like this series, if it's growing on you, if it's not growing on you, or you're trying to be like me, just more positive. So. On that note, go to AsArt.space for all the audio video links. Check out our cool shirts and stuff we have. And we'll see you on the next AsArt. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. I was just like, when I heard
Number 3. Pigs